Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I have some exciting news to share. So I've decided to leave my job and go back to study full-time. So I kind of want to share my experience in that and how I passed the point of all the fears and actually just deciding to actually just go out and do it. I also wanted to share what kind of support is being offered for students or for university students in New Zealand. Now when I say leave, I mean go on extended leave without pay so that I could focus on my studies and actually do that full-time. So let's get started. So I've decided to study a diploma in creative marketing. So it is a full-time course and it's technically for a full year, but overall it runs up to about 8 months. So it is not a degree. So normally in New Zealand, a bachelor's degree would take someone on average about 3 years. This is only for a year and it's a diploma rather than a degree. So the reason that I actually decided to go back to study, even though I already have a good career, a good role, so I didn't decide to study because I wanted to get qualified. And because as I previously stated in my previous videos, you don't actually need a degree or a specific qualification to get a good job in New Zealand, depending on your industry, of course. I actually decided to study because I legitimately want to learn. Now this course that I'm specifically studying is kind of a mixture of the principles of marketing and then also the creative side of it, so actually doing the design process. So as some of you may know, I actually decided at the beginning of the year to start YouTube and actually do it seriously and properly and actually kind of see where that goes. Now as part of that decision, I started to get more exposure in the creative and the digital sides of it, and I actually realized that I'm actually really interested in that kind of stuff and I'm really interested in design and creating digital content. I realized that I actually really want to learn more about this. Now, what does this actually mean for me? I was a bit unorganized, I suppose, because I decided to enroll late when the course has already started for a bunch of reasons, but basically it took me a while to get to that decision because it was really scary and I really had to think it through and really kind of analyze the risks that I'm taking, what it means, especially financially. Because I'm leaving my job until the end of my course, that means that I'm not getting paid, and that means that because I'm not getting paid, I have to figure out another way to support myself financially. Well, I guess one of the reasons why it was so hard to make the decision in the first place is because I actually get paid pretty well. So the higher you get paid, the higher your standard of living becomes. So I really had to think about what this would mean, and I did a bunch of calculations before I made the decision, and I had to think about, are we actually, or by we I mean me and my partner, are we gonna be able to meet our basic needs? And yep, I came to the conclusion that we could. And how I'm doing this is, thankfully in New Zealand, if you're a New Zealand resident or if you're a citizen, you actually get, first of all, student loans. Student loan is how I'm paying for my fees. So student loan is you borrow money from the government, but you do pay that back. So that's how I'm paying for my fees, and the fees actually of my course is around 10,000 New Zealand dollars for the entire course. And how I'm paying for my living expenses at the moment is through student allowance. So the student allowance is money from basically the government to help pay for your expenses while you're a student. Now I'm gonna have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure you don't have to pay the student allowance back, and there's different criteria for the student allowance. I'll put the link down the description below if you want to know more about how student allowance works in New Zealand, but again, you do have to be a New Zealand resident or citizen to qualify for that. So basically what this means is that I'm gonna be relying on student allowance to pay for our day-to-day expenses. Guido, my partner, is also currently working, so he does approximately 8 hours per week, so he does get some extra income coming in. Now I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm gonna be looking for a different job to actually help pay for the extra expenses, but if I find it's actually difficult financially, then I'm open to working part-time. Now I know what you're thinking, it is definitely gonna be a crazy jump from earning full-time to now earning way less and kind of depending on the student allowance. It's definitely scary, that's why it took me such a long time to actually make the decision, and it's definitely gonna be a big adjustment. I realized that it's actually the best time for me to do this now, to take a big risk, make a big change, and actually try something completely new and different, and really try to discover what I'm really interested in doing. Because I'm 25, I don't have any kids, and I don't have a mortgage, and I realized that if I don't do this now, then there's really no better time to do it. So kids and a house and a family and all that kind of stuff, it's not too far away. It's probably gonna be within the next 5 years. So I realized that this is my time and this is my opportunity to really do this now. And I know that it's gonna be a very big adjustment, and it's gonna be scary, and we're gonna have some challenges, but at the same time, I'm ready for those challenges, and I'm ready to also see where this takes me. And the good thing is, and I'm very grateful for my employer. If you're watching this, I know some of my workmates have subscribed to my channel. I'm very grateful that I'm able to come back to my role. So I'm only on leave without pay until March next year. So I'm very grateful to have that security to fall back on. I guess one of my fears about this is I understand that some people may also think that what I'm doing is also reckless, or it's not a smart decision to make, because again, I already have an established career. If I stay, I could continue working my way up, and I should just focus on that and start saving money now so that I could start preparing for my future and actually, you know, settling down and establishing my life. So I understand that some people may not necessarily agree with my decision, or they might not necessarily think that it's the right decision to make, but I've also realized that it's also my decision to make, and if I make a mistake, then that's also my mistake to make, and that's for me to find out. So all my workmates know, of course, and they've all been really supportive. So I'm actually really grateful of the response that I got from them, because I've shared my fears. I've shared that I'm really scared I could be doing something, you know, crazy. But a few people have told me that they don't think it's crazy, they think it's brave. And to hear that from other people, actually just, it feels nice inside. And that's really helped me to be okay with me making this decision, because I'm still struggling with the decision itself. Even though I'm already doing it now, there's no turning back. I'm still really scared, so it's still kind of processing in my brain that I am actually doing this. So they've all been really supportive. My partner Guido has also been really supportive. He's witnessed firsthand how stressed I was, how it really took a toll on me, and how hard it was for me to make that decision because of a bunch of factors that I really had to think about. But also, I just wanted to say also that I am actually very lucky to be in New Zealand, that I get to make this choice. Because and what I mean by that is, for example, if I was in the Philippines and I've already got a good job and I've established myself, and all of a sudden I decide, you know, I'm gonna study, first of all, I'll have to figure out how to actually pay for my fees, and there's no student allowance or things like that. So I'm really lucky that in New Zealand I have the opportunity to borrow money from the government to pay for my course, and to also get student allowance on top of that. So I definitely recognize that not everyone has the opportunity to make that kind of decision, and then that it might be harder for some people to even make this decision. Now, unfortunately, I'm doing it all online. So that means I'm gonna be studying, or I am studying full-time online. And there's a few reasons for that, but the main reason is that the campus of the education provider that I enrolled with, which is actually UB Colleges Limited, I'll put the link down below. So this college specifically, they specialize in actually the creative side of things. So they offer like film courses, acting classes, and all that kind of stuff. That's also another reason why I decided to enroll with them specifically, rather than the other courses that's being offered by different tertiary educations. Now, the reason why I'm doing it online is because there's actually no campus where I live. So right now I live in Hamilton. The closest campus is in Auckland, which is an hour and a half away. Now, I know that's not so bad, and I did consider actually moving to Auckland to become a student there and actually go to the campus classes. But my partner Guido, he's studying at University of Waikato to become a teacher here in Hamilton. It just really wasn't realistic or practical for me to move. First of all, we'll be saving much more money because we'll be sharing our expenses here. And also, I don't really know much people in Auckland. My life is here in Hamilton. My partner is here in Hamilton. So I decided, yep, let's study, but let's do it all online. Now, online study is actually pretty common in New Zealand. So ever since COVID, universities or tertiary educations have actually started to adapt more to online study and kind of cater for that kind of learning environment. Even before COVID, there's already some universities that have kind of mastered the distance learning, online learning sides of things. So I've done online study before. I'm quite used to it. Now with online study, as you could imagine, because it's all online, we don't get to meet people or see people. So it's also up to us to interact with other students who's also doing this online study. So my advice, of course, if you're someone who's going to be studying online, you have to be really responsible. You need good time management skills, and it's kind of up to you how you can make sure that you are getting what you need and that you're learning what you need to know out of your study. So it's a bit of self-responsibility. So really, over the next few months, it's gonna be a very different lifestyle. It's gonna be a big change for me because I've been working full-time for about 4.5 years, and that's really all I've done. So it's gonna be really different to be a full-time student now, and even much different and probably much more challenging that I'm doing it all online. So how's it going so far with my study at the moment? Because I'm still working, so I finish at the end of the month in August. So it's August now, so I finish at the end of the month. But because the course has already started, that means that I have to balance basically working full-time and technically also studying full-time. Now the expected hours for full-time study is between 30 to 40 hours per week. I obviously can't meet that, so I'm just trying my best to study every night after I finish work, and also on the weekends, just trying to get as much done. So it's definitely a busy month for me this August. That's why I've been a little quiet with YouTube, but I definitely still wanted to give an update of what's happening in my life. Absolutely, I'm gonna be creating and sharing more videos and content for my channel. From the 1st of September, I'm basically gonna be free full-time, so I'm gonna have more time to actually focus on my channel and also on my studies as well, and be more involved. So it's really exciting. I'm enjoying the things that I'm learning so far. So I've already learned quite a bit about design, but there's still a lot more to learn, and I'm just looking forward to all the things that I'm about to learn. So that was all from me today. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, my name is Jules, and I create and share videos about my experiences in living, working, and now studying in New Zealand. So if you're interested to know about the New Zealand lifestyle and what it has to offer, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. See ya!